Hummer is officially back from the dead. A car that was once known for being a gas guzzler will now become GMC's platform for a better planet. A car that was used to fight in wars will now be used to fight for our future. I'm Ryan Kotob, and this is the 2022 Hummer EV.
From first being released in March of 1992 and promoted by Arnold Schwarzenegger, to its other generations, being the H2 and H3, predominantly being associated as a pop culture icon, to now, a car that can rival Teslas, Jeeps, and Corvettes all at the same time. To truly understand what we're driving, I think we gotta look at the numbers. The Hummer EV is putting out 1,000 horsepower from 3 electric motors that deliver 11,500 foot-pounds of torque, similar to what you'd see in a Tesla Plaid. But there are a few things that make this super truck stand out above the competition. So let's start at the interior.
We wanted to give a quick shout out to My Car Auction for providing us with this vehicle today. If you're in the market to sell your car, visit mycarauction.com to get an estimate in just 30 seconds. All right, so let's take a look at the interior of the Hummer EV1. Now, from here, we can kind of get a sense of the ruggedness from a GMC product that you would expect. If you look right here, we can see a two-tone vinyl seat, also with a Hummer EV accent. If you look on the side doors, you can also see a moon typography that also runs throughout all the speakers within the car. So if you take a look at the center, where we have the miles per hour, we can see around it, there's also the moon typography as well. And if you come to the center console here, we kind of get a storage area that's kind of pulled out of a GMC Sierra. With this mode lever right here, we can scroll through the different modes, including normal mode, which looks like the Hummer EV1 is on the moon, a tow haul mode, which has the Hummer EV pulling a Saturn V rocket, which I think is hilarious. And we get to terrain mode, where it's kind of rock crawling on its own. We also have off-road mode, which shows the Hummer EV on Mars, and we have individual mode, where it's just rolling down a runway. And then if we hold it down, we also get crab walk mode, which features a super cool animation. And all these modes are powered by the Unreal Engine that's literally lifted from a game like Fortnite. The screen also has really low latency, which is not what you would expect from a GMC product, but I'd say it's really faster than what you would get out of a Range Rover. The car also has Apple CarPlay, where you can hook up your phone and you can just get it to reflect whatever music you want. On the left, we also have different modes like the front, look at the camera in the back, as well as turn on lighting in the back if you're towing anything. The Super Truck also features storage compartments in the back seats, rear AC, and removable tops that all come off that get stored in the front. The car is certainly designed out the lot to tackle a lot of terrain. The Super Truck is equipped with full underbody armor steel plates, 4-wheel steering, standard 35-inch off-road tires, terrain modes similar to what you'd see in other cars of this class. The Super Truck also has rear-wheel steering for better cornering, similar to what you'd see in Halo with the Warthog. The hood will also close automatically, and it's equipped with 3 windshield wipers. A cool feature is that when charging the car, the exterior headlights will show how much charge you still need. Another feature is that the truck is equipped with multi-pro tailgate, which is a step-up ladder similar to what you'd see in other GMC trucks. It also has an extract mode, which gives it an extra 6 inches of ground clearance. All right, that's enough talking. Now let's drive.
So Ryan, navigating out of this very narrow pathway, it's quite steep.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
Honestly, I think, well, for number one, what you would expect out of a Hummer and what you think with the Hummer H1, H2, and H3 and all those generations, the car is definitely massive. Like, it's huge and it has a giant road presence. It feels like you're just rolling in a Tonka truck.
No,
honestly.
It absolutely is. It's really funny just having to look down at basically everyone, even like other full-size pickup trucks. It's really funny.
And I think what you and I are kind of like getting to is really like the idea of being the true king of the road with this car, huh?
Yeah, I think this really is the benchmark for that, because honestly, I've been in a lot of things. I've been in a lot of trucks and stuff similarly priced to this, and it's the clearance and also just the sheer scale of this vehicle really makes you feel like you're pretty much the most important person on the road.
I mean, Matt and I just pulled up to an X5, and then is it a 4Runner? What is that?
It's a 4Runner.
It's a 4Runner, and Matt and I are literally above it. Like, we can kind of see the roof. We're literally right in front of a motorcyclist, and like we can see right above his helmet. Like, it's pretty insane. I think the car also has very linear pickup, but
I mean, that's kind of expected. This is completely electric.
Yeah, and you know, compared to driving an electric car, compared to driving gasoline car and jumping in this car, it's not complicated. Like when Matt and I first got in it and we took a look at it today, it wasn't something that seems foreign. Jumping in this car, it just feels like you're in a normal gas-driven car. It's not something that's foreign. It feels like a GMC car.
That's probably one of my favorite things about this car is that it seems intimidating, and it's intimidating to like everyone else on the road, but driving this, honestly, yes, it is taking some stuff out of the General Motors part bin, but at the same time, I really like this approach. For an electric car, we have very familiar controls, not trying to reinvent anything. It's very easy to just get in it, and it feels like a normal car.
It's not out of reach, or it doesn't feel like, wow, I've got to spend half an hour figuring out all the modes to say, okay, now I'm comfortable with the car and I can drive it. I feel like anyone from really any age category can just jump in and go. And that's what I think is the difference with GMC, is that they thought of the regular and like everyday person. Yeah, Matt, what do you think about like the personality of the car, especially coming from an American car and seeing other EVs out there like Tesla, where, you know, they have kind of a forced, funny personality? Well, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe it because I do keep saying that this car is a lot like an Xbox, and it's a lot more like, it belongs in Halo.
Yeah, it really does.
For some reason, because I think it's a lot more familiar. It's not trying to like reinvent and create very odd games and whatnot. You can't play like an off-brand version of Mario Kart in this thing.
Right.
And stuff like that. I do like that it feels more familiar to things rather than like we threw it in here because we threw it in here. It's very wacky. This is not a very normal choice to be spending upwards of 6 figures on for a truck. It really isn't. This is not a normal way to spend your money on a car. But honestly, it's very unique, and it makes you feel very unique.
So Matt and I, we were driving this around earlier, and even charging it, we kind of ran into people everywhere. We ran into people who just wanted to know, what is that? Oh, is that the Hummer? Oh, is it electric? I heard it's possibly like a hybrid. And we're like, oh, no. It's all electric. And dude, it gets like 360 miles of range max.
Honestly.
Which is insane for a 9,000-pound car.
I don't think people are going to really be stopping you to say, oh, is that a Range Rover?
Or hey, that's a cool G-Class or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think if you don't want to blend into the background, this is the car to buy. And also Ryan, who provided us with this car.
Yes. So to bring it back full circle, we just want to give a thank you to My Car Auction and Alfa Romeo of Irvine for giving us a chance to drive this car around and give our take.
If you would like to purchase this car, this is for sale.
And if you have a car that you do want to sell, visit mycarauction.com. And if you want to buy this exact Hummer, visit mcacars.com.
Oh yeah, the turning radius is insane because of the 4-wheel steering.
Oh yeah.
You get, what is it, like 10 degrees?
10 degrees.
From the rear wheels. This can actually do U-turns pretty much.
And even trying to make a U-turn with this car, it's super light because of the assistance with the steering. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm driving an old car and I just have to move it around. The car has so much low-end torque and mid-range, but once you get to like the higher end, that's kind of where it starts to give out on that.
Yeah, and I think that's because like Hummer is claiming a ridiculous amount of torque from this car. It's in the tens of thousands. And I think the gear ratio is giving it that extra torque. So what that means is we are actually losing a bit of top end.
Right.
And you can kind of feel that because when we've launched the car from a light, you have a lot of acceleration from 0 to 30. And past that, honestly, it kind of tops out. It no longer feels like 1,000 horsepower. And because I think it's geared down exclusively for the torque, and it can pretty much do that because it has so much horsepower, it just doesn't have that much top end. It doesn't really feel like 1,000 horsepower past really 30 miles an hour.
Right.
But honestly, it's fast enough.
It really is. And
with how big it is too, and you know, the weight and all that, I don't think I'd want it to be going that much faster for the brakes and, you know, that whole issue.
All right, Matt, I think we got to give this super truck a final verdict. What do you think?
Actually, from what I've gotten from this, is this has me actually very excited for the General Motors Ultium platform. I know Honda's getting it. It has me less worried actually that Honda decided to partner with GM to use this Ultium technology. Of course, it's probably not going to be like this, but seeing how robust it is, this has me very excited for what GM and the Ultium platform has in store for us in the future. I'm not the biggest fan of electric vehicles, but I think honestly this was a great way for GM to completely redo their image of electric vehicles, because honestly the Volts, they're not really the number one choice. Tesla really kind of changed the game with offering an EV that you could finally live with, and it's great to see GM now offer that too. This is truly as crazy as this thing is, you could live with it.
A few things I want to cover. Number one, first being its livability. It's very livable. You feel safe, you feel like the king of the road, and you feel like you can go anywhere and do anything. This is probably the first EV that makes me excited to go drive. It's one of those cars where you can just be excited to go on a Sunday drive and just head out, which is rare with an electric car. You don't get that from a Tesla, and you certainly don't get that from a Rivian, because I think they're just built for something different.
They're built to get you from point A to point B.
Yeah, and this has personality, and dude, it has so much coolness just oozing from it. From the different modes to the watts to freedom, it just feels like it's a full circle package. And surprisingly, it comes from GMC. And that's not something that I thought was going to be my opinion at the end of the day.
Honestly, I think you're right about that. I did not expect General Motors to be making me very excited about electric cars.
It's something that I thought, oh, it's just going to be okay. It'll be sluggish. Like, it'll be a lie. But I'm just shocked. Like,
I think this lives up to the brand name, bringing back this. It's really cool to see this total 180 for the brand image of the Hummer. Remember back in 2008?
Back in the day, man.
Yeah, with the rising fuel costs and the global financial crisis.
They were just known as gas guzzlers.
This was when you said gas guzzler,
you thought of
Hummer H2 was the first thing you thought of, and they've completely flipped that image on its head and made this the flagship electric vehicle for General Motors.
And they did it without reinventing the wheel. So I think
they did reinvent the wheel in a way that benefits you usability wise, like with the rear wheel steering and all this other stuff, but they didn't go to such lengths to make everything that didn't need to be reinvented.
And I think if I did have six figures to spend, compared to a Range Rover or a G-Wagon or another electric car by Tesla, I would choose this every day of the week. It makes me excited to go drive. It's got great modes. Its personality is very well-rounded, and it's refined. And surprisingly, it's a GMC product. If you're looking for the easiest way to sell your car, go to mycarauction.com for a quote in 30 seconds or less. It's the easiest and most convenient way to sell your car. Just go to mycarauction.com. On the website, you can type in info about your car and get a quote in 30 seconds or less. After you get your quote from My Car Auction, they'll come to your house to inspect the car and they'll buy it on the spot. Or go to mcacars.com to browse new and used cars for a great price.